Today, I'm going to share a method I often use to properly expose my clients to strength safely, producing great results in the shortest time frames. If we want to see improvements in bone density, tendon and ligament capacity, along with joint integrity, then we need to expose our body to more than just opening and closing our car doors. But is it really the complete truth about becoming strong? Finally, you can build muscle mass with small weights too, and the more mass you have, the more potential for strength you possess. As you can see, it can be more complex than just using heavy loads, and most certainly not rushing to 1-rep maxes, which is a recipe for disaster. Okay, enough introduction, let's get to the meat and nuts. I call this training style the peak method. This involves maximizing strength safely and progressively through the use of accumulation phases, so higher rep ranges, and intensification phases, lower rep ranges, in an undulating periodization model. Sounds like gibberish? Don't worry, I will explain. Phase 1, you start with a friendly weight between 10 and 12 reps, which is an accumulation range, and get yourself used to the lift. You should not be able to do more than 13, otherwise the weight is too light. Once your movement is mature, which may take you 1 to 4 weeks, you move on to the next rep range. In this context, the definition of mature is every rep is a copy and paste of the one before, the one after, and the first rep at the beginning of the set. The only difference will be in the last few reps where the movement speed might be slower as you are struggling to finish the lift, and that's okay. But all other parameters such as trajectory of the bar or the implement of the movement starting and the endpoints, including form, are exactly the same. This phase is great to learn movement, proper breathing, and muscle hypertrophy. Phase 2, here you do the same within a lower rep range, 8 to 10. This is still an accumulation phase, but you will be using higher loads than in the previous phase. Remember, you should not be able to do more than 11 reps in this case. Otherwise, the weight is too light. Here, you will also spend 1 to 4 weeks to ensure proper exposure and adaptations. This phase is great to help you build muscle mass and potentiate your strength gains in the next phases. The focus should be on mind-muscle connection and muscle burn. Phase 3. You guessed right, we dive into the next rep range, can be 5 to 7 repetitions. Increase the load further and do exactly the same thing. Here you will start improving your neuromuscular efficiency. Also note that the nervous system needs about 5 times longer to recover after a lift than in the first 2 phases. Hence, your rest period between sets should be relatively longer, allowing your nervous system to recover properly for the next set. Here you should aim to spend an efficient 2 to 3 weeks to increase your neuromuscular efficiency. Phase number 4, here you are not guessing right. In this case, you may dive deeper into lower rep ranges like 3 to 4 reps, which would be an intensification phase, but only if you don't feel exhausted after the previous phase. If so, you can undulate up to 8 to 10 reps again and go for another accumulation phase, followed by an intensification phase with lower reps. In either way, you do the same as before. You progress with your weights while maintaining great form. If you go for the intensification phase, you may not be able to do 4 efficient weeks. 2 to 3 weeks of exposure may be all you need. Listen to your body and back out of the lower rep ranges if you start feeling exhausted. Phase number 5. Now, if you are a strength freak and want to know your max weights, then you can implement another intensification phase using reps between 1 and 3. But don't go to this level of intensification if you feel exhausted or if you feel pain somewhere. In that case, it's safer to move back to an accumulation phase and then attempt maximal intensification once you feel ready. With rep ranges of 1 to 3, you should not stay longer than 3 weeks. Your nervous system won't like it and you will end up being injured. Also make sure for maximal lifts you have a spotter covering your back. By doing this, we are gradually shifting from more metabolically demanding training to more neurally demanding training. Also, it's important to note that strength is also often contextual and specific. For example, improving one lift might not have any effect on increasing another one. I like to focus on one upper body and one lower body lift simultaneously. An example for this is chin-up and barbell squat, overhead press and deadlift, bench press and front squat, etc. Focusing on only one lift, for example, the bench press, can create structural imbalances and increase the risk of injury. I hope you enjoyed learning about the peak periodization. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like this content, and see you next time. Happy lifting!